Okay, let's go back to the Austrian elections and the rise in popularity of that far-right candidate, Norbert Hofer. I'm joined by Paul Gillingwater. I believe we have you now, Paul. Many thanks for joining us. So, Norbert Hofer, let's talk a bit more about him. He won 35% of the vote in the first round last month, which was a stunning defeat for the centrist parties, which are essentially accustomed to running Austria. What is behind his popularity?
Austrians are generally a conservative people. Since the Second World War, they've been dominated by the coalition between the Christian Democrats and the Social Democrats. The Social Democrats tend to take the best jobs, and anyone who's connected to the party does well, which leaves a large percentage of Austrians feeling unrepresented. And with the general forces of nationalism and the rise of the far right over Europe, Hofer is seen as someone who will change the system.
And do you think he will win?
It's really too close to call. They haven't been having polls in the time up to this second round of voting. What we know is that the initial 35% is not a clear majority. And there are approximately 42% of voters who voted for other candidates in the first round of the presidential election. And those votes are up for grabs. One of the things that Hofer has been saying is that he wants to change Austria to become more like Switzerland, to create a direct democracy and to try to put all major political decisions to a referendum. But a lot of Austrians are a little bit nervous, particularly with the links to the far right that Hofer represents, and especially the party led by Starker, the leader of the Freedom Party.
We have seen an increase in far-right groups gaining popularity throughout Europe, but this would be the first time where one has come to power. Are you surprised by that?
Certainly for Austria, no. There was, in 2000, the first resurgence of the far right with the Freedom Party under their then leader, who formed a coalition with the dominant centre party at that time. This caused huge protests to occur on the streets. 150,000 people came out on the streets to protest against this, and there was almost universal condemnation from other European countries. I think that Austrians generally resent that interference. And last week, there was another protest against the far right, but only 3,000 people turned up on the streets.
Okay, interesting. We're going to have to wait and see how this pans out. Paul, many thanks for your time. Paul Gillingwater from the Austrian news agency, The Local.